So, hey, guys, can we talk real quick a little bit about the Deborah Sampson legislation and just let people know what's going on with that and what it is, because it's a big deal for veterans.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Deborah Sampson legislation is like, oh my gosh, 22 points that the veteran service organizations like, American Legion and VFW and the DAV and all these people that legislate for veterans causes have been lobbying for a very long time. And I'm just now starting to read up on it. And we're just going to hit a few points and have a little bit of discussion back and forth before between the three of us before we let Kim go, because we do have a feature at the end. But I'm telling you, there's caregiver legislation. You know what? That didn't include people for all eras of the military. And now because of this, it does. Hello, Kyle. Yes. I know she's listening. This is a very big deal for a lot of people.
Yes. Wonderful.
Did anything pop up to anything that you were reading about when you were looking at it? Because I know I just sent some notes along. If you have any thoughts on it, just speak up.
Well, I don't want to, I'll just say real quickly, I know for me, it was amazing to read about and learn about the Deborah B Sampson Act that mentioned that just passed through Congress, and it affects all veterans. And essentially, it's a bill that directs the Department of Veteran Affairs to carry out a 3-year pilot program to assess the feasibility of peer-to-peer assistance for women veterans who are separating or newly separated from the armed forces. And there's an emphasis placed on women who have suffered service-related sexual trauma or who are at risk of becoming homeless.
Mm-hmm. So this thing's got a lot of things in a lot of ways for a lot of people. And if we study up on this, we can help other people know what benefits have been refined now. Remember I talked about the DIC and I was making fun of it. They said it was the dick program and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's been upgraded as well, for goodness sakes. That's the indemnity thing. And they've got some new thing on that. Let me see if I can find it here. And by the way, I wanted to also point out, I was reading that the VA does not promote some of this legislation, and I want to say why. The reason is because it duplicates services in some cases, and that could be confusing. So when you see that the VA doesn't support, S804 or something like that, there's a reason. They're trying to streamline things and not do things that are confusing with this legislation. Because, sometimes people just say, oh, veterans education. I see Veterans Education Priority Enrollment Act, Senate Bill 764. I mean, education. That's like anybody, that's important. Like I said, making sure that, all eras can be caregivers and have those services for those caregivers, because, it's a lot cheaper, a lot more cost effective to have your caregiver be somebody in your home rather than having somebody come in and not exactly know what's going on with you. And, now you have to wait for them to arrive to get your ride to the VA. Why wouldn't you want that? So right. We don't want to duplicate efforts and the stuff that's going on for women's health. I was just talking to Renee Andreessen the other day, and I said, holy mackerel. I said, what's good? What's the plan? What's going to happen with this? So I'm excited about all these possibilities and things that are going to go on a lot of levels for veterans, not just women's health or anything else. It just has to be Women's Health Month. So,
Kim, did you have anything on the?
Well, I just like to say that I'm so glad, because some people get the misconception that there should be a limit or that we already have enough. And that could never, ever be far from the truth. No matter how much we get, is still much more needed. And so with this act and what they're going to be implementing in this pilot program, it's important that we all get involved and make sure it works and show Congress, the politicians, whoever did the approving and whatever, that it works and is very much needed, and always make room for more and more improvement. And so I'm excited about it for all of us, as veterans, because the more, the better, the more, the merrier. And thank you for passing this act.
Yeah.
Wow. I just want to thank you so much, Kim. You know, what came to mind for me was like, common sense is not always that common, right? I mean, I saw something about ensuring that each VA medical facility has at least one full-time or part-time women's health primary care provider.
Yes.
And I mean, and I wouldn't think that I would need to see that stated, but it shows me that things need to be placed out there, and I'm so glad the bill has been passed. Also, very important work.
And I would like to say, I myself is a military sexual trauma victim, and I like, when I go to any VA facility, I always request a female, my primary care doctor, a female provider, just because of my own experience. But everybody have their own story. Everybody have their own preference. I'm just saying, I'm glad we have that option now, so that we can feel comfortable of going in and sharing. For me personally, as a woman, as a female veteran, there's certain things that I can't talk to a male primary care provider that will understand, but the female can. They can better relate. So that's just my preference, and I am so glad that we're moving forward in a lot of things when it comes to female veterans. Yes.
Finally, Model 3 staffing. Yes, that's absolutely, or whatever it is that the hospital immediately needs. But yeah, more employees, please.